But if you and I met 3 years ago at a conference, shook hands, and are friends on Facebook, and now all of a sudden you want to bring your boatload of problems to me, ask me for 5 minutes of my time, get on that call, and then offload all your crap on me and ask me to solve it for you, man, it's just not fair. Don't do that.
This is The Fighting Entrepreneur, the podcast dedicated to entrepreneurs looking to change the world. Learn how to start, build, and scale a business in today's highly competitive business environment. Here's your host, The Fighting Entrepreneur, Anik Singal.
What's up, you crazy fighting entrepreneurs? Welcome back to The Fighting Entrepreneur Podcast. This is your host, Anik Singal, and today I have to tell you something. The answer to the question is no, I do not have 5 minutes for you. All right, now that I sound like a complete a-hole, let's talk about this and let me dissect this. This is like a public announcement for me because I'm losing my sanity. I mean it. I love everyone in my life, but here's the problem that I'm facing. Because you and I shook hands 3 years ago at a conference and then perhaps even maybe had a coffee or a drink, we are not best friends. I do not owe you anything. And so the challenge I'm having in my life is this question. Hey, Anik, do you have 5 minutes for me? Now, let's really break that down. Is it really 5 minutes? Is it ever really 5 minutes? It's never 5 minutes. 5 minutes, I invented that question when I was starting. But the trick is, when I did it, I never did it like this. See, here, let me tell you what happens. I made an episode, or I think I said it in an episode in the past where I talked about good questions. And so what's happening is people will reach out to me because they want to brainstorm. Or the other word is they want to pick my brain. Now, there is enough stuff going on in here. I don't need you taking any of it. All right? That's the truth. So let me get to what happens. And this is why I've started to make a hard rule now. And I actually did some research and I looked at what do billionaires do with meeting requests? What do very famous and popular people do? Now, I'm not saying I'm any of them, but I figured whatever the heck they do, sure as heck I could do it. And I was shocked to see. Actually, the truth is, and again, I hope she's not listening, but it was my wife who did it because she was going crazy on my behalf. So she goes and sends me all these links to like what Warren Buffett says or what Mark Cuban says or what Oprah says or what all these people say. And I was amazed to see 100% of the people that we researched had a no meeting policy. They just don't do meetings. As a matter of fact, they at least are fortunate enough. They have a business manager, a this manager, a that manager. They have all these gatekeepers that you just can't get through, right? And they do it on purpose. But for me, my innate challenge in life has been this. I am actually a pretty nice person. If you get to know me, you'll know I like to help. So lately, I find myself not being as nice. The last few months, this is something I've really picked up on. And I don't like the fact that I catch myself not being nice. So I started to ask myself, well, what's going on? Well, the problem is the nicer I'm getting, the more people I'm finding are trying to abuse my time. Now, I don't think any of them have ill intentions. I mean it. I don't think any of them mean bad. But everyone says it's an innocent 5 minutes. I was recently asked by somebody, can you have coffee with me? I said no. In my own nice way. Super offended. You can't have coffee with me? Like, yeah, I really cannot. And they thought it's absolutely ridiculous. How could you be so busy that you can't have coffee with me? Well, right now, I'm in the middle of literally, two of my companies are in the middle of their fastest growth or their most challenging growth times that they've ever had. I get up at 6 a.m. every morning, and I'm telling you it's nonstop from 6 till about 8 p.m. Now, that's about 14 hours, right? Now, I'm going to get all the people messaging me, Anik, you got to work smart, don't work hard. I got all that. Trust me, I'm there. I know. I'm pushing extra hard, and I understand all that. That's on me. But the thing is, by 8 o'clock, I'm done. And I don't take a lunch break. I don't know any entrepreneur that takes a lunch break, okay? So when someone says, can you go grab lunch with me? My lunch is eaten over the course of 3 hours in between time, meetings, work, 2 bites at a time. So I don't have a 30 to 45-minute lunch break to give to someone. So I'm going 14 hours nonstop. I'm absolutely exhausted. So I've actually told someone this before, and they told me, well, I'm happy to meet at night. I'll wait. I'll meet with you at 9:30. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? For crying out loud, man, I got to sleep. I got to just take time with my own wife and my own family and just go sit and stare at a wall. 5 minutes when asked for by 100 people. Can you imagine what that accrues to? Not one day goes by without me having someone from my life reach out for 5 minutes. And they ask that question in a multitude of ways. My request of people that ask this is, even if I say yes and I meet with you, I want to challenge every single listener right now, okay? I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be rude. There's actually a core lesson here that you can really take away. If you're asking other people, forget me for a minute, if you're asking other people for their time, experts or people that you really believe can help you, are you honoring their time when you do get it? Because what's finally led me to saying no is typically what happens when I'm asked for my time, I've discovered, is that it's a ruse. It's a ruse in order to get in front of me, to have me do it for them, to have me basically teach it to them, to have me solve their problem. Don't get me started about that. Let's just save that for a second. I'm going to come back to that one, solving problems, right? So what I've discovered is when I talk to someone, you can ask anyone. I still ask people for meetings and times. By the way, I met with someone recently for 45 minutes. I paid them $2,500. This is a friend. This is someone who refused, who basically said, I do not want your money, right? We eventually agreed to me donating that money on their behalf, but I wanted to make sure they understood I honored their time. The other thing is that when it came up that I'm going to pay for their time, I prepared. I literally sat for an hour. And when we sat down, it was supposed to be a 1-hour meeting. It went to 45 minutes because I was asking super pointed questions, very specific. And that person actually about halfway through said, man, these are good questions. I don't usually get questions like this. But I was in the weeds and I was asking them stuff that I then went and implemented the very next day. And I didn't ask them to implement it for me. I didn't ask them how to implement it. I asked them what to do and then I figured out how to do it. And when I implemented it, 2 days later, I sent them a message saying, by the way, thank you. I implemented what you taught me. Look at the results. You know what happens as soon as I do that? The next time I want to call with them, that person will jump fast to come help me because I actually did what they said. But unfortunately, a lot of times people who ask for other people's time, it's exploratory time. Listen, guys, if you're talking to tenured entrepreneurs who are out there changing the world, doing big things, they don't got exploratory time. Any exploratory time they have, they're going to use for themselves. And they have a right to do that. They have a right to use their exploratory time for themselves. Just because you know someone doesn't mean you're entitled to their time or entitled to anything from them. So I'm getting requests every single day. And when I say no, 50% of the time people get offended. The other 50% of the time, I don't know, they act like they're okay, but probably another 50% of those are offended. And the truth is, I'm just going to ask a root question. Like, why does anyone around you owe you anything? Why should anyone around you do anything for you? Now, I posted on my Facebook profile recently and I had said, I'm done with meetings. I'm tired of meetings. And someone came back and replied and they were right. They said, hey, listen, not all meetings are the same. Some meetings lead to great things. And they're absolutely right. But those meetings are the ones that lead to great things. Think about this. This is going to be a big breakthrough because I read that comment and I really thought about it. Most meetings that lead to great things have, right from the get-go, a mutual potential relationship. There is something good that could come of it for both parties. It would be a win-win meeting. So for example, when I message, I just messaged a contract firm, I messaged an agency, right? And can you believe this? So let me actually tell you about my relationship and how I use this, how I've pursued this agency, okay? This will show you how to honor and respect somebody's time. So the first time I reached out to this person was on Facebook because they were recommended by somebody else on a different post as really good at what they do or what I was looking for. I messaged them on Facebook, never called them, never asked for a 5-minute call. I messaged them on Facebook, said, boom, it was a long post, said, this is what I'm looking for. If this is something you'd be interested to explore, please let me know. They replied and said, yes, I would. I can help. So they requested saying, if you want, let's get on a quick call. And then I replied and said, before we get on a quick call, let me give you a little bit more information so that you know what I'm looking for, more detailed. And again, to respect and honor your time, not to waste on a call. I sent that second message. They replied, absolutely can facilitate and help you. Let's get on a call. We set up a 15-minute call. I asked from the get-go for 15 minutes, and I kept it to 15 minutes. I actually had a timer on. I don't know if you've ever noticed when I do podcasts, I keep my phone on me. There's always a clock running. I am that meticulous about every second, every minute of my day. There's a clock running right now. So I put my timer on. 15 minutes in, we were done. When you have a timer on, it just makes things more powerful. You are aware of what time you're taking. And in that call, the reason I was even willing to take the call was because there was a potential mutually beneficial relationship there. If that relationship came to fruition, the individual I'm trying to talk to would end up earning an income, earning money from that call. And if it didn't, at least they knew that they were on a highly qualified sales call. I as a potential client, highly qualified myself, respecting their time. When we got on the call, guess what? It didn't come to a close. It didn't come to going in a particular direction. But that person offered to help me anyways by referring me to some other places. So I took their offer for help. Then 2 weeks later, I needed help. I actually needed to pick their brain. So here's what I did. I sent them a request saying, I would like to pay you, compensate you for your time so that I could have an hour so I could pick your brain. That is a proper setup to pick someone's brain. I pay for it. And then they replied, said, no, I don't want you to pay me. I said, no, I insist. They said, I'm not going to accept any money. So what I did then is I said, let me send you an audio synopsis, 5 minutes of what I'm looking for so that you can tell whether you even really want to get involved in that. Send him an audio on Facebook Messenger. He replied, said, thank you for sending that. Absolutely. I got answers for you. Let's get on a call. We got on a call. It was an hour-long call. All right. I respected and appreciated so much. He would not let me pay him. So you know what I did? At the end of the call, I said, can you at least give me your address? He gave me his address. The next day, I sent him out a really nice gift just to honor his time and commitment. This is called relationship building. It's also called respecting someone's time. But the biggest thing that I've done to date with that person is before every call, before every request, I've provided them with information, and I've always made sure that there was a mutually beneficial outcome. Now, does that mean you can't meet with someone just to ask them questions? Does that mean that you can't meet with someone just to pick their brain? No, it doesn't mean that. But what it means is you're not entitled to it. What that means is if you want that, you should be upfront and clear. See, when you ask someone, can I have 5 minutes of your time? It's ingenuine. It's in a way manipulative because you really want 30 minutes or an hour, but you're asking for 5 minutes to get a low, kind of like a small ask because they're going to say yes and then you can take as much time as you want. It's not genuine. So if you really want an hour, then what you should do is ask them for an hour and don't just keep it open-ended. Tell them exactly what. These are the 4 things I'd like to discuss with you. If now is not a great time, no problem. Let me know. We could do it later or never. And all of a sudden, just by doing that, the chance of you getting a yes on the other side is so much stronger. So my core issue with the request of can I get 5 minutes of your time is A, that time is never respected because there's never any preparation behind it. It's purely exploratory. My second problem with can I get 5 minutes of your time is it's ingenuine because you don't want just 5 minutes. You want more. All right? And the third problem I have with it, we're going to come back to something I had put aside. Do not use me as a problem solver. That's not fair. Now listen, I've got people in my life that are very close friends. I've got colleagues and I've got people I work with, peers. That's my job, right? If you work at Lurn and you're in a major problem, I'm CEO of Lurn. My job is to help resolve your problems, right? But even there, to a degree, I demand that my team solve their own problems before they make them mine. But if you and I met 3 years ago at a conference, shook hands, and are friends on Facebook, and now all of a sudden you want to bring your boatload of problems to me, ask me for 5 minutes of my time, get on that call, and then offload all your crap on me and ask me to solve it for you, man, it's just not fair. Don't do that to anybody. It's not cool. Don't make them do things for you. Don't make them do your things. Don't make them run your business, build your business, design your business, architect your business. It's not cool. Just don't do it. It's disrespectful, and it's not going to get you the results you want in your life anyways, because trust me, at some point, someone's going to start saying no to you, and then you're going to fall apart. Learn to solve your own problems. Don't bring problems always. Bring questions, targeted, specific questions. That's different. At which point, when you get the answers to those specific questions, you would eventually arrive at the solution to your problem. But you would arrive at that. You, not them. So this is why lately I've had such a problem. My email, my cell phone, my Facebook Messenger, and now I'm starting to get people asking through other people. They're going to family and friends and loved ones and saying, hey, can you ask Anik about this? From internship requests, job requests, 5-minute calls, lunch requests, can I pick your brain? Coffee, can I have coffee with? It's just, guys, I'm one person. And most entrepreneurs you're ever going to want guidance from, they're one person. So we're going to do another episode in the future, as recommended by Joe, about how do you get time with me. But I wanted to give a little synopsis since I've been so negative. I've been a negative Nancy this entire episode, telling you about how I'll never talk to you. I don't want to meet anyone. I don't want to talk to anyone. What is the appropriate way? You know what? Repeated connection without an ask. Step one. So be around selflessly. Do something. All right, listen, I got a foundation. It's the Singal Foundation. All right? I'm just going to give you a little clue. Now, don't go everyone off and run and do this because I can't take calls with everybody. But if you made a contribution to my foundation, that's an easy way in, right? Think about it. My wife runs my foundation, and you go and make a contribution to the foundation. My wife finds out about it, and then all of a sudden you want to have a quick chat. I'm not saying I'm going to say yes, but what I'm saying is maybe we met at an event, maybe we hung out, maybe you introduced me to someone. You provided value first. You were true and honest in there. Maybe we had a drink. Maybe you bought me a drink. And then from there, you found out something. The best person at this I know, by the way, John Tallarico, he's a wizard at this. And we have a podcast episode coming up with him about how to build relationships. But you do something for the other person first. You find what's hot in their life. What do they care about, right? I haven't talked enough about this on the podcast, but if you've been around me long enough, I love my foundation. I love the kids we support in India. I love the villages we support in Village Enterprise or through in Africa. Get connected to something I love. Reach out to me through my heart. Now, that's fine. So you'll get a foot in the door, but that door will remain open very small, very short time. If the first meeting you finally do get with me, you burn my time. Because there's one thing in my life I respect and appreciate more than anything else, okay? Way more than money, and it's my time. Look, right here. We're 16 minutes, 17 seconds in. I'm timing it. So what I want you to consider doing is stop asking people for their time. Stop manipulating people with asking for 5 minutes when you really want an hour. Get clear on what you want. Don't use someone as a springboard, but use them, if you do, for very specific questions. Honor them by doing something in return for them that'll touch their heart. And when you do ask them stuff, ask it. Make it specific. Don't bring them your problems. Ask specific questions. Go implement what they do. Don't argue with them. That's another thing. My God, don't sit across the table from me and argue with me on suggestions I give you. But do what they tell you, and the next time you reach out to them, don't reach out with more questions. Reach out with the results of what took place from the meeting that you finally had. So this is my rant because, one human, one person, I can only do so many things at one time. And when 100 people want 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, trust me, with all the responsibilities I have in my life, there is really only so many times I can meet with someone. And even if I do meet with them, please respect and honor that time. So this, I'm telling you, I am speaking on behalf. There you go. I'm just declaring it. I'm speaking on behalf of every successful entrepreneur in the world right now is listening to this and saying, oh, yes, thank you. Finally said it. All right. Now, imagine if you can take all of what I just said and internalize it and learn how to appropriately approach people and learn how to appropriately build relationships. Just imagine what you could actually get and then appropriately ask the right questions. Imagine how much more value you could get from the network that you have or that you're trying to build. A ton more. That's how I did it. That's how I do it every day. What I just told you, that story of how I treated someone, that is not new. I've been doing that for 15 years, and it has served me very well. And that's what I encourage you to do. All right. If you want to get some show notes about my rant today, go to anikpodcast.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead, leave me a comment. Click the little thumbs up thing, hit subscribe, leave me a comment. If you disagree with me, let's fight it out. It's all good. Leave a comment below. And as I always say, guys, when life pushes you, stand straight, smile, and push it the heck back. And don't ask someone for 5 minutes of their time. I'll see you on the next episode. This is Anik Singal signing off. Talk to you later.
Thanks for listening to The Fighting Entrepreneur with your host, Anik Singal.